I never imagined that a laugh could haunt me this deeply. Her voice echoed in my ears, sharp and mocking. "You're crying over a DM? Really?" My hands shook as I held the phone she had carelessly left on the table. The room was silent except for the faint ticking of the clock, but in my chest, a storm had erupted. My eyes darted to her, sitting there with that smug, unreadable expression, unaware that in 3 minutes, everything she thought was hidden would explode into the light. I opened her phone, trembling, not sure if I wanted to see or if I should run. And then I saw it. Messages that should never exist between two people in love. Flirtations that went beyond friendly banter, late-night plans with someone else. Emojis that carried a meaning I could barely comprehend. My stomach lurched. I felt like I was watching her life unravel in real time. A life where I was only a character in her play. Every message was a knife. Every timestamp a reminder of how blind I had been. Her smirk faltered for just a fraction of a second, but it was enough to know that she knew I had discovered something she could never take back. She tried to laugh it off, saying, "It's nothing. You're overreacting." But the truth was screaming at me from the screen. Every word, every plan, every hidden conversation with him was a revelation. The woman I thought I knew, the woman whose lips I had kissed, whose hands I had held through storms, had been lying. She had constructed a perfect facade, one I had loved blindly, one I had trusted with my entire heart. And now that illusion had crumbled into sharp pieces around me. I scrolled further, and my vision blurred with tears I refused to shed in front of her. Weekend plans I had never been invited to, secret messages filled with innuendo, intimate jokes that were never meant for me. My mind could barely process the betrayal. I felt my chest tighten as though someone had taken a vice to my ribs. And then, the worst hit me. She had anticipated that I might never find out. Every detail had been planned, every step hidden in plain sight. I realized I had been walking through a minefield of lies, oblivious until that single DM cracked everything open. I didn't yell. I didn't demand an explanation. I simply watched her, letting the silence fill the room with its own weight. She looked at me, confused, thinking my heartbreak would make me weak. But I was learning something far more dangerous. Silence is louder than screams. I began to record, screenshot, capture every single lie she had spun around me, every moment of deception. I wasn't planning revenge yet. I was building proof, constructing the evidence of every secret she believed would remain hidden forever. By nightfall, I made a decision. I would leave, not in anger, not in despair, but in quiet resolution. I walked past her, past the life I thought we shared, out the door into the cold night. She reached for me, her voice trembling. "Wait! Don't go! Please, I didn't turn back. Every step away from her was a step toward clarity, toward reclaiming myself from the grip of her lies. And in that moment, the first shreds of freedom began to weave into my chest, even as my heart continued to bleed silently. Weeks turned into months. I rebuilt my world on honesty, on self-respect, on love that was mutual, not one-sided. I started to understand the true meaning of betrayal, not the act itself, but the erosion of trust it caused. And yet, even in my moments of laughter and new beginnings, the memory of her smirk, her careless words, haunted me. I remembered the exact curve of her smile the night I discovered the messages, and I realized how close I had come to losing not just my love, but my sense of reality. Then came the day she appeared at my door. Her hair messy, eyes red, voice cracked with desperation. I was wrong. I never meant for it to go this far. Please, come back. She fell to her knees as if by sheer gravity she could pull me back into her world of lies. But I was no longer that man who cried over a DM, over a lie, over betrayal. I looked at her, silent, calm, letting her anguish fill the doorway, knowing she had finally realized the enormity of what she had done. My heart ached, yes, but it was a different ache now. One of closure, of finality, and of truth reclaimed. I didn't speak. I didn't move. I let her sob, her pleading, her regret fill the air, and then I closed the door. The sound echoed through the hallway like the finality of a gavel striking, and I walked away into a life where trust and love could exist without fear. She would never see me again, never touch me again, never manipulate my heart again. And in that silence I found peace. I had survived betrayal, heartbreak, and humiliation, and I had emerged stronger, wiser, untouchable. And in the quiet of my apartment, I opened a new message. Not from her, but from someone who loved honestly, someone whose words were true, whose heart was real. I realized that heartbreak is cruel, yes, but it is also instructive. It teaches the value of trust, the pain of deceit, and the power of leaving behind what is toxic. I had loved her with all I had, and she had laughed at me over a DM, thinking my heart was hers to toy with. But the truth now belonged to me. And somewhere outside, she finally understood that what she had destroyed was beyond repair. Her chance, her lies, and the man she thought she could control were gone forever.